Hello and welcome, dear students. My today's topic is Ectocarpus, a brown sea alga. The genus Ectocarpus shows many of the simplest features in the class Phaeophyceae and is one of the best known brown alga. It is often seen as hairy growths in pools, mostly attached to rocks and other algal species. The plant body has a branched filamentous thallus, green-brown or yellow in color and measuring from a few to about 30 cm in length, forming generally a bushy habit. The plants are dioecious because the male and female gametophytes are formed in gametangia, which are borne on different thalli. Common in the colder seas of northern hemisphere, these organisms have become tolerant to the metal pollution which surrounds ports and docks. They resemble the green alga in their cell wall structure, with an inner wall of cellulose and an outer wall of pectin, but differ in wall composition, cellular contents and structure of motile cells. Phylogenetically, Ectocarpus is one of the primitive brown alga with an isomorphic type of life cycle, in which the sporophyte and gametophyte generations are mostly identical in appearance. Now let's analyze its diversity and taxonomy. De Leyen in 1809, based on the materials collected by W. J. Hooker, published the first valid description of Ectocarpus using the name Conferva siliculosa. Lingbe in 1819 described the genus Ectocarpus based on the material from Denmark and cited Conferva siliculosa as basionym. Ectocarpus siliculosus is the type species of the order Ectocarpales, which includes most of the small brown algae. There are 410 species and infraspecific names in the algal database at present, of which 100 have been flagged as currently accepted. About 16 species of this genus have been reported from India. Systematic position. The genus Ectocarpus belongs to division Heterocontophita of class Phaeophyceae in order Ectocarpales and family Ectocarpaceae. Let's analyze its distribution. Ectocarpus is a marine alga of worldwide distribution with many species. A few of them, at least 6, have also been reported to occur in fresh waters. The marine species are cosmopolitan in distribution but are more abundant in colder seas of temperate and polar regions. The genus is common along the Atlantic coast but scarce along Pacific coast. It mostly occurs as lithophyte along coasts in littoral and sublittoral zones. Some species also grow as epiphytes on the other algal genera. Species like Ectocarpus fasciculates has been found growing on fins of certain fishes. Some species are endophytic, for example Ectocarpus dermonimatus, or even endozoic like Ectocarpus fasciculates, wholly or partially. Some endophytic species are also known to produce galls in other algal species. Now we come to the morphology of the plant. The plant body is filamentous and heterotrichous. The thallus is sparsely to profusely branched, with the cells joined end to end in a single series as monosiphonous. The thallus is differentiated into irregular prostate system and a branched erect system. The prostate portion is found attached to the substratum and remains creeping on it, whereas branches of the erect system develop from the prostate system and form a tuft. The branches are always lateral and arise just beneath the septa. The branches end either in a point or taper into a series of narrow, hyaline and vacuolated cells with few or no chromatophores, forming a colorless hair. The prostate system serves the function of anchorage with the substratum or on other plants, and the erect system is photosynthetic and also bears reproductive organs. In some dwarf species of Ectocarpus, the sporangia may arise terminally on short erect threads as in Ectocarpus fariensis, and in some other such species they are borne directly on the prostate base, which is usually well developed and may branch so profusely that it looks like pseudoparenchymatous. In such species, this pseudoparenchymatous disc then bears only plurilocular sporangia with unicellular stalks. There is evidently considerable variation even in one and the same species. Thus, although the erect threads are often unbranched, they may occasionally show some ramification and bear sporangia laterally. Now we come to the cell structure of Ectocarpus. The cells of ectocarps are small, rectangular to cylindrical and uninucleate. A typical cell contains a ribbon-like or band-shaped chloroplast, often called chromatophore, with a stalk pear-shaped pyrenite. The cell wall is thick, mucilaginous, consisting of 3 pectocellulose layers. The characteristic gelatinous substance present in the cell wall is composed of algin and fucoidin. Inner to the cell wall, a cell membrane is present which enriches the protoplast. The protoplast contains one central nucleus and cytoplasm with many chromatophores. The number and shape of chromatophores varies from species to species. The photosynthetic pigments are chlorophyll A, chlorophyll C, beta-carotene and fucoxanthine. The fucoxanthine masks the chlorophyll and gives the characteristic brown coloration to the plant. The cytoplasm contains many vacuoles called as physosores, which contain polyphenols, probably functioning as lysosomes. The cells of haploid filaments are comparatively shorter in length than diploid filaments, and the cells are usually totipotent. Now we come to the reproduction of Ectocarpus. Ectocarpus reproduce both asexually and sexually. Asexual reproduction takes place by means of biflagellate zoospores, which are produced in 2 kinds of sporangia, namely multicellular or plurilocular sporangia and one-celled or unilocular sporangia, borne on the sporophytic or diploid plants. The unilocular sporangia develop haploid mesospores or gonospores, and the plurilocular sporangia develop diploid zoospores. Plurilocular sporangia are elongated, multilocular, and are sometimes also known as neutral sporangia, while unilocular sporangia are generally oval-shaped. The zoospores from the plurilocular sporangia germinate directly into other asexual plants, whereas the mesospores from the unilocular sporangia germinate into haploid, sexual or gametophytic plants. All motile cells have 2 flagella in the 11 and 5-o'clock positions. Development of unilocular sporangia. The unilocular sporangia develop from the apical cell of the lateral branches, which increase considerably in size to take on a globose or ellipsoid shape and functions as sporangial initial. Simultaneously, the number of chromatophores also increase within the developing sporangium. The diploid nucleus of this initial cell first undergoes meiosis, followed by several mitotic divisions to produce 32 to 64 haploid daughter nuclei. There is then cleavage of the cytoplasm to form as many uninucleate daughter protoplast units with single chromatophores and haploid nucleus. Each unit then metamorphoses into a pyriform biflagellate diploid swarmer called meiozospore. The flagella are unequal and are inserted laterally, with posterior flagellum shorter and whiplash type, while the anterior one is larger and tinsel type. During the liberation of the meiozospores, the apex of the sporangium wall gets dissolved and the spores are liberated in gelatinous mass. After 50 to 60 seconds, they get free from this mass and swim freely in water. They remain motile for about 30 minutes or so. Germination of meiozospores. After swimming for a while, the meiozospores on contact with suitable substratum withdraw their flagella, become rounded and secrete a membrane around them. Within a short time, a germ tube is formed which divides and redivides to form the prostate filaments. Some cells of the prostate filament become active and form erect filaments. The plants developed in the germination of these haploid meiozospores are gametophytes or sexual plants in the life cycle. Development of plurilocular sporangia. Plurilocular sporangia are elongated, conical and multicellular bodies developed singly on diploid sporophytes. Initially, they develop like unilocular sporangium at the tip of the short lateral branch. The apical cells elongate and function as sporangial initial. The sporangial initial becomes enlarged and undergoes repeated mitotic divisions, forming 6 to 12 cells in a vertical row. The cells then undergo several vertical divisions, as a result of which a multicellular cone-like structure consisting of several hundred small cubical cells arranged in 20 to 40 transverse tiers is produced, forming a plurilocular sporangium. There is no reduction division during the formation of zoospores in plurilocular sporangium. So, each small cubical cells of the plurilocular sporangium contains single diploid nucleus. Each unit then metamorphoses into a single uninucleate and diploid biflagellate zoospore. The zoospores formed from plurilocular sporangium are similar with meiozospores developed in unilocular sporangium but are diploid in nature. The zoospores of plurilocular sporangium liberate through apical or lateral aperture and on germination produce the sporophytic plants or diploid plants. Now we come to the sexual mode of reproduction. The sexual reproduction is both isogamous and anisogamous. However, anisogamy is more common, whereas oogamy has not been observed in ectocarpus. Anisogamy may be of two types: morphological anisogamy as observed in Ectocarpus secundus, or physiological anisogamy as observed in Ectocarpus siliculosus. The gametes are produced inside the plurilocular gametangia borne on haploid plants or gametophytes. Development of plurilocular gametangia. They are large, elongated, sessile or short-stalked multicellular structures. Morphologically, plurilocular gametangia are alike in structure and development with plurilocular sporangia, but are produced by haploid or gametophytic plants. These gametophytic plants in certain species are physiologically of two types but morphologically similar. The plurilocular gametangia produce haploid gametes. On the other hand, plurilocular sporangia produce diploid zoospores. During development, the terminal cell of the lateral branchlet gets inflated, followed by repeated transverse divisions to produce a vertical row of flat cells. This is followed by longitudinal and transverse divisions, resulting in the formation of several hundred small cubical cells arranged in about 20 to 40 transverse tiles. Each cell gives rise to one, sometimes two biflagellate pyriform gametes, which in structure are similar to zoospores. Though both are morphologically more or less alike, the gametes are slightly smaller in size than the zoospores. The gametes are liberated from the gametangia following the same procedure as that of zoospore liberation from the plurilocular sporangia. Fertilization. Fertilization in brown algae is generally external, involving fusion of naked gametes that have been released into the surrounding seawater. During fertilization, many male gametes encircle the female gamete and get entangled by the anterior large flagellum. This stage is called as clump formation. Out of the many, only one male gamete fuses with the female gamete, and the remaining gametes go astray and gradually get destroyed. The uniting gametes then form the zygote through plasmogamy and karyogamy. Majority of the species show physiological anisogamy, but morphological anisogamy is observed in Ectocarpus secundus. In physiological anisogamy, both the uniting gametes are morphologically similar, but in morphological anisogamy, female gamete is larger than the male gametes. Isogamy is also reported in some species such as Ectocarpus globifer. Here the fusing gametes are similar in every respect, looking alike and behaving alike. Fusion occurs between isogametes coming from same plant or even from the same gametangia. Physiological anisogamy occurs in Ectocarpus siliculosus, which is a dioecious species. Fusion in this species occurs between gametes of the different plants. The fusing gametes are morphologically identical but differ in their sexual behavior. One is less active and often called as the female gamete. It becomes passive and motionless after a short time. The more active male gamete cluster around and fix themselves to the body of the female gamete by forwardly directed flagella. Some of the anchoring flagella of one of these gametes contract and its body is brought in contact with female gamete. Finally, the two bodies fuse, nucleus to nucleus and cytoplasm to cytoplasm, to form the zygote. Now we see the role of pheromones in sexual reproduction. Soon after the release, the originally motile female gametes began to settle on the surface and start to secrete a chemical signal, a pheromone. The biological function of this pheromone is the improvement of mating efficiency by attraction of the flagellated motile male gametes. The chemical structure of this pheromone has been established and has been named as ectocarpine. The compound was subsequently proved to be the progenitor of a series of C11 hydrocarbons. Ectocarpine was the first isolated algal pheromone. Structure of gametes. As shown in the figure, the gametes show the flagellum with the eukaryotic arrangement of microtubules, that is 9 pairs surrounding 2 pairs, 9 plus 2 arrangement inside the flagellum. The chromatophore has a stalked thylakoids and dense fucoxanthin granules as indicated. The gamete has a centrally located nucleus and large number of mitochondria in the cell for respiration and are several vacuoles. The cell wall is very thin and the cell membrane is tightly pressed on it. What's interesting about these gametes is that the female gamete is positively thigmotactic. This means if it touches down on a surface, it settles down and attaches to the surface. It then secretes ectocarpine that diffuses into the surrounding water. The male gamete has positive chemotaxis. It swims towards the source of ectocarpine. If water currents or other movements start to move the cell away from the source, the male gametes show inverse negative chemotaxis. It changes its swimming direction when the decreasing concentrations of ectocarpines is detected. Germination of zygote. The zygote undergoes germination without any reduction, division and rest. On germination, it develops into a sporophytic plant which is morphologically similar to the haploid or gametophytic plants. The sexual generations also propagates itself by the parthenogenetic development of about 5% of the unfused gametes of either sexes. Now we see the whole life cycle. A haploid-diploid life cycle of ectocarpus is of particular interest because it implies the existence of genetic control mechanism that regulates the setting out of the two alternative independent developmental programs, influencing development at the level of the whole organism. In the life cycle of ectocarpus, the sporophyte and gametophyte are slightly heteromorphic. The gametophyte is dioecious and sex determination is generally genotypic. Alternation of generation in ectocarpus. The gametes from two different ectocarpus plants fuse to form a zygote, which on germination give rise to the diploid or sporophytic plants. The function of the diploid plant is the production of zoospores and meiospores. It is therefore called sporophyte. The function of the haploid plant is the formation of gametes. This gamete bearing plant is called the gametophyte, and this stage in the life cycle is called the gametophytic phase or sexual generation. These two plants with different functions and different genetic constitution regularly alternate in the life cycle. This is called alternation of generation. Since mostly the two alternating plants are morphologically similar, this type of alternation of generation is called isomorphic alternation of generation. Ectocarpus thus exhibits a primitive type of alternation of generations. Dear students, in our today's lecture, we discussed structural, morphological and reproductive details on the brown alga ectocarpus. We also highlighted the role of pheromones in the sexual reproduction and the pattern of alternation of generations. Hope that the lecture will help you to understand the morphology and life history of ectocarpus. Thank you very much.